Hey guys, back with another daily update video. It is 5:30 p.m. Friday, June 5th. I wanted to wait and make this video and not make it right after the market closed at 4 because I wanted to wait until 5:30 p.m. to make sure that my puts were all secure. And what a roller coaster day for me, because if you remember from my prior videos this week, I have 3 puts on AMD at the $53, $52, and $51 strike prices, which I have a total premium that I collected on these 3 puts of $215. So today I decided not to close out my $53 put early, and I just wanted to let it ride. And this morning we were looking good. Pre-market we were in the green for AMD. The market opened at the green up about 36 cents. We dipped for a little bit, came back up. We traded a little bit in the red in the mid 52s again, just like we have been doing for the past couple of days. But then at 11:40 a.m., it decided it was going to take off. And I don't know what happened because I wasn't aware of any good news that came out, but a bunch of buy orders came in and the stock went up to 53 and some change and traded sideways for the whole day. So I was actually pretty happy about that, because now I was fairly confident that if we keep trading sideways, my $53 puts were going to be safe. And actually, because so much time decay had already occurred from when I opened my positions on Tuesday, I could have actually even closed out my position in the morning, even when it was trading in the red, for about an $8 profit on my $53 puts. So if I really did not want to get assigned those 100 shares, if we did end the day below 53, I could have still closed out my position and just taking a little bit of profit still, and not even for a loss. But you know what, I wanted to let it ride, especially after this big run-up happened. But then it slowly, and when I say slowly, I mean it very, very slowly trickled down as the day went on. So my other concern was, see, around 3 p.m. it was trading in the low 53s, 53.30, 53.20, even dipped below 53 for a second there. So my fear was, if we have a big drawdown during power hour, then I'm definitely going to get assigned. So then, 3:45 is at 52.96, and I said, I'm for sure going to get assigned. Whatever, it's fine, it's no big deal. I like AMD. I'll just sell covered calls, or I'll just sell it off next week when it gets back above 53. And then, during the last 10-15 minutes, it came back up. It ended the day at $53.10. But if you remember from my prior videos, I'm not in the clear yet, because exercise of options happens up until 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I still have another hour and a half where in aftermarket trading, if AMD dips below 53, I can still get assigned that contract or assigned those shares. So for that hour and a half, obviously the volume is much, much lower in after hours trading, so the price fluctuation isn't as much as during the day. I mean, look, after hours, we're from 53.10, 53.06, 53.10 again, 08, 04, 03, 53 even, back up to 53.02. I mean, it was a nail biter. It was literally coming down to the last minute. And at 5:27 p.m., we were at $53.03. At 5:28 p.m., we were at $53.02. And at 5:30, we are at exactly $53. I think this is incorrect, because as I was watching it live, at 5:30 we were at like 53.02. So I don't know what's going to happen, because if we're at 53.02, I shouldn't get assigned the shares because I'm above 53. But if we truly are at 53 even, then I probably will get the shares assigned. So we'll have to see tomorrow, because it's interesting that it's showing 53, because as I was watching it live, it was actually 53.02. So I don't know what happened, but maybe it's averaging the prices, because it's jumping every 5 minutes from 5:25 to 5:30 p.m. to 5:35. So maybe it's averaging the prices from 5:30, 5:31, 5:32 and such. But we'll see if I end up getting assigned shares, and obviously I'll keep you posted tomorrow. But anyway, from selling those puts this week, I made a total of $215. So just to do the math on that, I had $5,300 in collateral for my one put, $5,200 in collateral for the other put, and $5,100 in collateral for the last put, for a total of $15,700 $600 that I had in play. And I made $215 in premium that's mine to keep if I get assigned shares or not, no matter what happens. So let's just do a return on risk calculation. So that would be $215 divided by 15,600 that I had in play and times it by 100. So that's almost a 1.4% return on my risk just on my options plays right now. So what we can do is we can also add in the profit that's not realized yet from my stock appreciation. Because if you remember, I also bought 200 shares of AMD outright, and I decided not to sell covered calls on them because I didn't know the market was so unpredictable today in terms of AMD. But it's fine. I would have only sold covered calls for an extra 10 or 20 bucks total, so it wasn't the end of the world for me. But I own 200 shares of AMD at a cost basis of $52.95. So what we can do is we can add in the profits from my shares of stock. So if you remember, I have 200 shares of AMD that I just bought outright earlier this week at a cost basis of $52.95 per share. And AMD closed the day at $53.10. So what I can do is $53.10 minus $52.95, which is my cost basis. So I made 15 cents per share times 200 shares. So I'm also up $30 in unrealized gains because I didn't sell my shares off yet. So I made a total of $215 this week off AMD options that's realized. I mean, those are in my account now. And I also have an extra $30 of unrealized gains. Now, I kind of told myself that once AMD goes above 53, I'm going to cash out my shares and just be cash going into the weekend. But during this period when it was trading in the mid 53s, I was up about $100 or so just in stock appreciation. And I guess I'm still a little bit greedy, and I wanted to let it ride because I'm really hoping next week it'll go up to 454, 55 again. I think once it goes up to 54, at least I'll cash out. Just because I can lock in another about $100 or a little bit more than $100 in stock appreciation, and then also get that cash again to reinvest and put it into other options for next week. But like I said, I do have my $15,600 capital that should be freed up again, unless I did get assigned those shares this weekend, and I'll keep you posted tomorrow if I do or not. But I'm looking into getting into more options. The funny thing is, I was watching the market today and it was just crazy green, right? Everything was up, and we can just take a look at the big board. This is from yesterday. We can refresh it and look at it. I mean, this is so much green on the board. And I was looking at it, and especially in the morning when AMD was in the red, everything else was still green. I mean, literally every other tech stock, my entire watch list was all green except for AMD. And I was like, man, I must have the worst luck that I happened to put all my eggs in the one stock this week that wasn't in the green. But, it finished the day strong. It was up 0.9% at the end of the day. But, I mean, look at the other stocks, Apple, Microsoft, Google, they're all up around 2%. So, I'm not really sure why AMD is straggling right now. I'm really hoping it's just kind of building up a lot of energy to break out. If you take a look at Micron today, Micron again, I mean, it just really popped. It went from low 50s all the way to 54, almost touching 55. So, I don't buy calls, but if you had Micron calls, you've done really well this week. I mean, even if you had sold puts on Micron, your cash is secured as well, so you would have made money as well. But that's my one regret for this week, is not getting into Micron. And I had the same regret last week, so maybe I'll try harder next week to get some puts on Micron. But, I mean, just take a look at AMD. It hasn't really fluctuated much at all for the past couple of days. So I'm hoping it's really gearing up for a rally up and a breakout. But like I said, the Fibonacci resistance level is around 54.50. So I think if it breaks above 54 sometime next week, I'm going to cash out my shares, because it's going to take a big effort to break out above this Fibonacci level if you believe in Fibonacci levels and technical analysis. And then the other thing is, it's kind of been trading in the middle RSI, so it's not really overbought or oversold. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with AMD next week. But that's kind of my little threshold right now. Is if it gets above 54, I think I'm going to cash out my shares, because at that point I'll make about $100 or a little bit more than $100 in stock appreciation, which is a nice weekly gain. I mean, $100 is 0.4% return on risk of a $25,000 portfolio. So that's a nice weekly gain. And hopefully that's in addition to any other premiums I make next week by selling options. So, you know, a lot of the stocks on my watch list are really expensive right now because they've all been going up. So I'm curious to see, you know, what possible plays are out there for next week, because I don't want to get in at the top. So I may, you know, just hold off for Monday again, because my concern right now is, are we at the top? Because we're at all-time highs pre-pandemic. And if you look at QQQ, again, it was in the green and it traded sideways. I mean, QQQ and SPY really took off. And just taking a look at some of the other stocks I was looking at this weekend, Disney, again, continued to rally higher and higher. Looks like it tested this Fibonacci level at 125 and didn't like it and came back down. So maybe it wants to trade in this teal area between 116 and 125. IWM also really took off this whole week. Now it's all the way up to 150. I'm still missing my $127 shares, but what are you going to do? Space was the one stock on my watch list that actually ended the day in the red. It's really interesting because I thought after the successful SpaceX launch this weekend that this would really pop, but it kind of just traded sideways all week. But that's good and bad. It's good if you have puts on, because you can just let time and theta decay eat away at your premiums and just collect that premium without the risk of getting assigned. But yeah, that was my week. You know, I can't complain too much. I made $215 and may or may not have gotten shares assigned, but it's another week on Monday, and I'll keep you posted about my possible moves this weekend. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm very curious to see if you guys have any possible stocks or plays that you're looking at making for next week, since everything seems to be just going up right now. But, you know, I don't want to get too complacent, because it's a little bit scary that just everything is going up, even though I feel like every day the news just keeps getting worse and worse. But as always, I hope you all make money this week, and happy trading.